Today we need to get into J-Hope on a date, apparently, and that being discussed with Nayeon from Twice. We have people attacking J-Hope online, and then we have the label apparently refusing to help and promote J-Hope recently. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Let's get into it. First off, I want to say thank you so much for holding on if you guys have been waiting. I don't know if there has been anyone waiting, but thank you if you have. I really appreciate you, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all that have checked in on me. I have been suffering from the flu, and I think I am maybe about 90% better now. But getting into the first story of the day, we need to talk about apparently the label refusing to help J-Hope. I will say a lot of the evidence here does kind of stack against the label, and it does appear as if the label hasn't done much to help. And I want to talk about it and some of those things and then give my opinion. I definitely will not be upset at anyone who has kind of been on the side of hating the label and them not helping, because I understand where they're coming from. But of course, I want to give my insights as well as someone who's been inside the industry. And so if you're not aware, the tour dates are less than 2 weeks away. So people were definitely wondering if the label was going to go ahead and promote them because the tickets are so close and they want to sell them out, right? Now, of course, people are going to jump down my throat if I don't clarify this right away. A lot of the stadiums and the tour venues of J-Hope have sold out. The ones that have not sold out are the ones that are not open yet. So to me, at least, this particular outrage doesn't make a lot of sense because everything that has been for sale is sold out. And sometimes what a label does or what a company might do is if they see something's already doing well without their help to push, then it makes no sense to push, because at the end of the day, by pushing it more, they're also spamming it to a community that may not be into BTS, right? But also, what is then the point of promoting it on their socials if the whole point initially was to just sell the tickets, and it's already doing that? There were a couple of other things, but some people were saying that J-Hope was left fending for himself because he created his TikTok account to promote himself because, you know, the label wasn't going to do that. Of course, at this point in his career, he would be able to create an account if he wanted to, but also I believe that he probably would want the team or someone to look over the content or tell him what type of content to post to make sure that he can optimize the platform. The job of a social media manager is to basically look over the content that you make and determine what is going to be something that might give you the most attention. A PR team might come in and also say, okay, if you want to roll out this next thing, this is what we do to roll it out. And these are all done by a team. Now, he could choose not to use this team, but if he has access to this team and they're professionals, why would he not use them? I would love a social media manager myself, probably would help me out a lot. They don't just do like content promotion or optimization where they're like, oh, what to put in your description, all that stuff. That's not the entirety of what they do. They also give you ideas on what you can do and what content may blow up. So I understand why people are saying the label is refusing to help, because a lot of that stuff is stuff that they can't see. But it is happening behind the scenes, and I think the simplest thing that you see is a result of the company. Does that make sense? We don't even know who was the one who actually opened the TikTok account, right? Could he have had an assistant or someone at the label create the account for him, get it all started for him, put his information in, and just hand it over to him? Or was he the one that actually sat there for 10 minutes and did that himself? I'm not saying that he wouldn't do that or that he would be above doing that, but he might not have had the time because he's planning the tour. These are all things that the label would be helping. And again, things that we obviously can't see, right? There's also a lot of people who are either praising J-Hope for being someone who I guess doesn't have that many features on his album, and then there are those who are mocking him for having features in general, and other people are comparing him to some of the other solo members of BTS as well as other groups. Naturally, Blackpink and BTS are going to be the two that are often compared to each other. And Jennie recently released more music. She released a song with Doechii, and a lot of people were saying that it seems Jennie is super obsessed with Western validation, and she will always have a song with a feature in it. And I know a lot of people don't care for the girls, at least some of the people that might be watching my page, but me defending them or defending Jennie specifically in this situation is because this applies to every K-pop star. People love to attack K-pop stars for featuring a lot of Western celebrities. The thing is, it works, and it is a way to get into the Western market a lot easier. It also makes you appear a lot more assimilated or associated with the Western market very quickly. Upcoming singers do this all the time. Lady Gaga, when she was first starting out, did it with Beyonce, and it quickly established her, Gaga, as the next superstar. People were willing to give her a chance because they saw that she was potentially friends with this other huge superstar. So it's a trick to get the artist to become a household name once they've already gotten a lot more established. And of course, these features get to join with an artist that could potentially be the next big thing in America. So it's a win-win. There are comments that say that J-Hope doesn't need specific stars to establish his career, unlike Jennie and unlike the other BTS members, and I highly disagree with this. Aside from the situation that I just mentioned earlier, having a feature on a song, it's not what most people think it's for. I think most people just think, well, of course you're going to put a feature on a song, especially if the feature is really popular, then it's going to bring more viewership to the song and more people are going to download it. However, that can be true, and you could get a few more downloads than if you were to not have the feature in the song. The song itself still has to be really good. It can't just be that a feature was included in it and bam, suddenly a #1 hit. No feature can save a song if the song is that bad. So to say that any artist needs another feature to save them doesn't really make sense, because there has to be something there before the feature. For one, the feature even has to be interested in joining the song. If it's bad, why would they put their name on it? And then second of all, it has to be a good song. And they're essentially the same thing, but I wanted to emphasize that because I think people forget that in order for something to be successful, it still has to be good. And if something is successful, chances are it is good, and that's why it is successful. People love to make excuses as to why someone could be successful. Oh, they're pretty, that's why they got there. Well, pretty is still good content, right? We as a society love to look at pretty people, so that in itself is good content. People will watch it, right? People love to say, oh, someone got really far because they're a Nepo baby. There are plenty of Nepo babies that don't get far because they're actually just not very good. Take, for example, Jackie Chan's son, who most people don't even know the name of, who has tried to be in movies and has used his dad's connections but has gotten nowhere. And of course, one of the most interesting, craziest rumors that I have recently seen was one saying that J-Hope and Nayeon from Twice are in a relationship together. I'm wondering if some of it is satirical or if some of it is more people actually believing it's true. But either way, I think it's very interesting to talk about this because most of the time, these rumors are coming from a place that doesn't make any sense. And I don't necessarily believe this rumor with J-Hope and Nayeon make a lot of sense, but it makes more sense than some of the other rumors. So the rumor starts off that they were both at a restaurant together, and not in the same picture together, but at the same restaurant. It apparently was posted on both of their Instagram accounts, I think. So this was interesting because they could have gone the same day, and the date that they actually posted the picture would be irrelevant, right? Because they can post it at any time. And if they spaced out the posts, then obviously they could have been taking these pictures for each other and could have been having dinner with each other, and no one would have known. Now, the likelihood of that specifically is probably very low because so many idols and artists probably go to that restaurant. It's probably a famous one, probably a really high-end one. So you can probably connect J-Hope with any of the other celebrities that have been there, right? I also am not fully sure if any of the other BTS members have posted from this restaurant either. And if they have, then likely J-Hope was with them. One of the other photos that I thought was an interesting one to talk about was both of them, I believe, at the Louis Vuitton store. Now, they weren't in the exact same location each, or maybe they were and they just had changed the wallpaper, I don't know. But they both took pictures using the mirror on the ceiling. So what you do is when you typically see that, and what a lot of couples like to do is that they will either kiss or hold hands or hug or whatever, and then take a picture of themselves from that ceiling mirror with their phone. I guess it's something that the community considers to be more of a couple type of photo. I don't know how they tend to label things as such, because I would imagine, let's say for example, someone goes to the beach and they want to take a picture. The community loves to say, oh, that's a couple type of picture. But what if they're like by themselves? It kind of just makes it feel like they can't be by themselves and do these things. I don't know. But they were both allegedly taking this couple picture using the ceiling mirror. People thought that it looked like they were together and that they had the same idea, or that it would just be cute for them to be together. Of course, I don't believe that that would be the case, and I think that the photos are cute, absolutely. But I think it's just that. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos. Link down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.